welcome back to another FPL stream. Honestly, I feel like I need these tips because my players just aren't performing and I don't know what to do. So I did much better than the average last game week only because I captained Iheanacho and that ended up being like a very good play. But other than that, I think he was the only player to perform other than a clean sheet from Azpilicueta and Alice. So, or was it? I think it was Azpilicueta. So I don't know. How are you feeling about your team, Liv?
Do you know what? I actually did okay. I captained Salah. No, did I captain Salah? Yeah, I did captain Salah, and I got 66 points, which I think is quite good. I mean, I bought in Castagna. We'll talk about him later because he's definitely one of my top picks. But really, my points came from Salah, who got me 18, and then Castagna, who got me 9 by scoring. And then Iheanacho, that was pretty much it. Really, you get the odd 2, 3, whatever. But overall, I'm looking at my team. I don't really know how I got 66 points, but I don't think I'm going to make any transfers this week. I think I'm going to stick with it.
I'm thinking the same thing. So, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. I'm just going to keep it super open because I feel like this game week is really difficult to deal with. So, we're just trying to get to as many as possible and talk about our teams and strategy and everything. So, Nihal says, is keeping Son and Kane a good option? And this is actually a question that I have because I have both of them and I don't really have anybody else that I want in place. But I don't like having a double up on Spurs assets either. So
I don't really like. I think there's been only a few games this season where I've had Son and Kane. I'm one or the other. Usually I'm Son. This time I'm Kane. They're playing Sheffield United. Spurs have got some really nice fixtures. So if I had them both, I would be keeping them both 100%. I would be doubling up this game week and for the next 5, I'd keep them both. The only if you haven't got Salah, if you're looking to get rid of Bruno, the only thing is if Spurs don't play well, then they're 2 of your most expensive players that then you leave yourself a little bit open to not getting a good score because you've got 2 players from one team. But I think the way everyone's playing at the moment, no one's putting a run of form together. None of these big assets are putting together a run of form. None of them. So if there was ever a time to double up on a team, I think it's now. So yeah, Nihal, I'd say keep them both if you've got them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Something that I'm struggling with personally is that I have a lot of double assets and I don't want to have double assets, but I don't know who else to put in their place. So for example, from United, I have Bruno and Greenwood. From Spurs, I have Son and Kane. And then from Liverpool, I have Jota and Alexander-Arnold. And I'm it's too many players from these teams.
I would say, is I think it's all fine doubling up on players that don't have anything else to play for. So Spurs, fine. Liverpool, fine. But you should not be doubling up on, I wouldn't say Man United, I wouldn't say Chelsea, I wouldn't say Man City. I would stay away from doubling up on any of those assets because they've still got big things to play for. Chelsea and Leicester are in an FA Cup final. Chelsea and City are in Champions League finals. United and Arsenal are in Europa League semi-finals. So, Champions League semi-finals and Europa League semi-finals. So you want, like we say each week, you want players that are going to play consistently every single week. And with Bruno, I think I'm going to come to him because he's one of my players. But you want players that are going to play every week, and there are a few double game weeks coming up and stuff like that. So I think, but doubling up with having one big asset from each is fine, but doubling up is fine, I would say, when you've got nothing else to pay for. Liverpool, absolutely fine. Tripling up on Liverpool, I'd say, is absolutely fine given their fixtures. And then doubling up on Spurs, I think, is absolutely fine as well.
Yeah, it's a struggle because I have those 2 United players, and this is something that we are going to get to. Bruno Fernandes, and we have a question from Steve. He says, have you changed your thoughts about Bruno since last night? Because he hasn't been performing. He's been blanking in 5 consecutive game weeks, but then he scored twice, I think, yesterday. Maybe got an assist as well.
He's my keep. We're playing this little keep, sell, avoid. He's actually, I know we're going to get into that, but he's my keep because I if I know they've got Liverpool and there's every chance it could end up 0-0, but there's also every chance that it won't end up 0-0. And I know Roma aren't the best opposition. You're not gonna, you're not going to be playing Roma every week, and they have got a tough game. But I just think if you're going to get rid of Salah and you're going to get rid of Bruno as well, I'm just saying this because I don't have the balls to get rid of him. Whereas you had the balls to get rid of Salah, and I stuck by him, and I'm going to stick by Bruno just purely because I don't really want to make that decision. But Man United will have a double game week coming up. So yeah, that is an indication that Bruno is always capable. If Man United play well and their attack links together nicely, then there's every chance he's returning double digits. Even against a team like Liverpool, I think he got double digits against Man City when they played them. So, we always talk about Bruno, whether he's up for it in the big games. I think yesterday proved that, that was a big game for Manchester United, whether it be the level that we associate with a big game. It was the Europa League semi-final. They couldn't do it last season. So I think for me, I'm sticking with Bruno but I think a lot of people will get rid, Steve. I don't know if you're one of them that's kept him, but for me, I'm keeping him.
I haven't made up my mind because I don't have Salah, so I don't want to get rid of another big asset and then have him perform and fall super behind because I don't have Salah. But my problem, if I had somebody who I would clearly wanted to replace him with, I probably would get rid of him.
This is the point. This is the problem, isn't it? I've got Gundogan, but there's no one I want to bring in yet. So I'm just going to bench him because it's pointless wasting a transfer on someone that you're not 100% set on.
Exactly. And that's what I'm struggling with this week because I have all of these players. And I'm like, Man United play Liverpool, and I could see it either being a 0-0 or being quite big. I don't know. And that's the problem.
He's getting all over it, really, doesn't it?
No. Yeah. So I'm thinking my thought is Man United tend to not perform amazing against the big sides. I think they only beat City. But other than that, they've really had 0-0 against the rest of the top six. Yeah. So I'm thinking about benching Bruno or Greenwood is in better form. I
was really surprised he didn't start yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If he didn't start yesterday, then that makes me think that he's definitely going to start. I guess that game is, yeah. I think Bruno's also going to. I really have no idea. You guys tell me who I should bench. I am really lost.
The problem is when you bench one of them, the likelihood is if the one that you start doesn't play, he's probably going to come on. So if you bench Greenwood and you play Bruno, unless Man United are 3-4-0 up, Bruno's going to come on for 2 points unless he does something. He might come on for the last 20. He might come on for the last half an hour. And the same with Greenwood. Greenwood always comes off the bench whenever he's not starting. So it's really difficult. You've got to try and pick the one that you think if they do come off the bench, they've got more thingy of starting, but they got more chance of returning. But Greenwood is in great form.
I know, and that's why I'm thinking: do I go form over precedent? In this? I have not decided yet. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think I should do because I'm really, really undecided about this point. Let's get to a couple more questions. So Arjun says, thoughts on Bale as captain differential. Will he start?
Arjun, no. Straight up no. I've never jumped on this Bale bandwagon hype thing once. Having said that, the times he did get double-digit hauls were in these sorts of games. They've got Sheffield United at home. So actually, thinking about it, if there was ever a time to captain Bale, it would be now. I've never had Bale in my team. I'm not ever getting Bale. I don't want Bale. But if you've got him in your team, if there was ever a time to captain, it would be now. And whether you Sheffield United are relegated, they did win last time out. But Spurs tend to be better in these games than they are in the big games. It could be a nice differential. I do think he'll start. I think he'll absolutely start. I think all three of them will. Son, Kane, and Bale. Son, Kane, and Bale. I think all of them will start. So yeah, it could be a nice differential. I mean, I don't have the balls to be doing that this late on in the season. I'm close to the top of my mini league, so I've got to be captaining Kane. That's who I'm captaining, hands down. But yeah, I think that if you've got something about you and you want to do it, I've got nothing about me and wouldn't do it. But if you do, then yeah, I think that could be a good option. Like I said, if there was ever one, it would be this game week.
Yeah. I think if you have other Tottenham assets, like I would feel more comfortable captaining like a Kane. But if you really want to try to make up on points and you want to have a differential, perhaps, but it could really like backfire. So it's just about how gutsy you are. Like last week, I captained Iheanacho and I wasn't sure about it, and then he scored.
Smashed it.
So, or he scored and assisted. And
he got an assist.
Yeah. So I'm just going through to see. There's so many comments I can't figure up with it. Jay says his team is Mendy, Dallas, Shaw, Reece, Salah, Bruno, Jota, Maddison, Lingard, Kane, Nacho. Maddison could be a good shout as well, but I already have Nacho, so again, like doubling up.
Yeah, I was going to wait until I do like the idea of Maddison, but I was just going to wait for a few games just to see how he comes back into the team, and he wasn't necessarily that great in their last game. But I do like the Reece thing. I think Reece James will play. Shaw gets bonus points every single time he plays. Dallas plays in central midfield. So I think that's a good. I mean, literally, my team, I've got Dallas, I've got a Chelsea defender, I've got Salah, I've got Bruno, I've got Jota, I've got Lingard, I've got Kane and Nacho. So our teams are pretty much the same. I've got Martinez and goal, you've got Mendy, and you've got Maddison, and I think I've got Ollie Watkins as a striker. So teams are pretty similar. But yeah, I think that's pretty solid. I don't know about Reece.
My team is pretty similar as well. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I would assume he's starting because he didn't start against Real Madrid. He did. I think
maybe in a few games' time, depending on what happens next Wednesday, I think it's really tough to predict what he's going to do because Callum Hudson-Odoi could easily come in as wing back. We've seen Thomas Tuchel play him there, so I think Reece is I like the differential option, but I think there's. At this point in the season, I know I keep saying it, but you want players that you know guaranteed are going to start every week. Like, I don't know, if Aaron Cresswell's fit, he starts every single game. You know, someone like you've got Dallas and Luke Shaw, they're going to start every single game. But Reece James, I'm not so sure about. Like, I don't know if I'd be taking a risk on. I'm even annoyed about Azpilicueta at the moment. I was
just going to say that. I was like, do I sell Azpilicueta because he's been playing in these big games, so he could perfectly be rested versus Fulham.
He's actually my sell. Him and Rudiger are my sells because they are two players who are so important to Tuchel and have played nearly every single minute. They've been rested at times because they've played so much. I cannot see either of them. Azpilicueta maybe more so because he plays as a wing back and as a part of the back three. So there's more chance of him playing against Fulham. But to me, I can't see Rudiger starting. I cannot see Rudiger starting against Fulham. He is going to be saved. I mean, he's been brilliant as he under Thomas Tuchel, give him his due. And I think he's so important for that second leg against Real Madrid. So if I was you, I'd be getting rid of Chelsea defenders because you just, like we say, you just don't know. Even now, Azpilicueta and Rudiger aren't safe anymore in the Premier League. Yeah. So if they go out, however, obviously touch wood, hopefully we don't. If they do go out on Wednesday, then I think maybe keep your Chelsea assets, but for the moment, whilst we're in the Champions League, whilst we're in the FA Cup, I'd stay away or at least maybe bench.
Interesting. So maybe I have Diaz as well, and I want to get rid of him too. Maybe I should make a choice. That's the thing. I want to get a Man United defender in, but then I don't want 3 United players. So I'm in a bit of a pickle, you guys. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll do that. I
think Diaz is one you've just got to get rid of because City could win the league on Sunday. If Liverpool beat Man United and City beat Crystal Palace, they could have won the league, which then means the league's wrapped up. I genuinely don't think Diaz will play against Crystal Palace. God forbid anything happened to him and they missed their second leg, which isn't over against PSG. I just think at the moment, and once if they get through, which I know it's looking likely that they will, I think it's even less chance that they'll be playing in the Premier League. And he's expensive. You could get more for your money for another defender.
So who are you looking at in your defense?
So I'm going through my little buy sells here, but my buy this week is a defender and it is Castagna. And I said 2 weeks ago when I watched him, I was like, right, when I take Diaz out, I'm putting Castagna in. That's my move. I'm done. And he bloody went and got a clean sheet and an assist or something. And I was like, that's annoying. So I put him in this week, didn't get the clean sheet, but scored. And he literally plays as a winger. He plays literally so far up the pitch. like, I know he's a wing back, so you are going to get forward more. But I was so impressed with what I've seen, and he literally, sometimes it feels like they've got a third striker. He's always there, and Leicester's fixtures are really good. Well, I mean, saying that, they're good for the near future, and that's why I brought Castagna in for 3 game weeks. They've got Southampton on Friday tonight, and Leicester, they've got Newcastle at home. They're the 2 fixtures that I absolutely want Castagna for. Even against Man United and Chelsea, obviously I don't want him to do well against Chelsea, but he gets forward, and Leicester, we know what Leicester like. They're threatening when they attack. So that he's my buy this week is Timothy Castagna. I think he's a great option, an alternative to Trent. If you don't want to spend 7.4 mil on or 7.5 mil on Trent, he gets forward just as much. I think I probably back the Leicester defence more than I would the Liverpool defence. So yeah, I'm telling everyone my little secret because I put him in last week and I was very happy about it. But yeah, you've got money to spend and you're taking out.
Do that. I honestly might just do that.
Castagna's a good option.
That sounds really, really good. Honestly, I already have Iheanacho, but
I've got Iheanacho, yeah, but I've got both of them now. Yeah. We just need an Iheanacho assist and a Castagna goal, or vice versa. Vardy can't be involved.
I'm like, but Leicester should not be winning. No, Leicester needs to lose so that Chelsea can get the third.
Problem, isn't it? I was like celebrating. I was like, yes, Castagna scored, and I was like, well, actually, that's probably not very good for Chelsea, but never mind.
So Shivam says, Mendy or Martinez, who should I go for? I personally have Martinez in goal. I've had him since the beginning.
Martinez. I had Mendy as well, but I find when Chelsea get clean sheets, he gets 6 points. That's it. No more, no less. Doesn't pick up bonus because he doesn't make a lot of saves. I mean, he does when he's called upon, but in games like against Fulham, how many saves realistically is Mendy going to be making? Whereas I look at Martinez, who's been unbelievable in FPL this season. He has been so good. And I know he's actually not kept a clean sheet in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, yet he's still picked up 4 points in 2 of them because he makes saves and he gets save points. And, you only get 6 for a clean sheet and he gets 4. So you're only missing out on 2 points. Whereas Mendy, I find, he's got more chance of a clean sheet, especially this weekend against Fulham. But I think if you're going to do it for 1 week and you want to look 1 week only, then go Mendy. But I think for the long run, for like the price, he's obviously 5.4 mil. But if I look at amongst goalkeepers, he's the most owned goalkeeper. He's got the most points of any goalkeeper. Martinez does. Mendy's not even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's only just in the top 10 for amount of points, and I just think you're going to lose more points if you don't have Martinez because everyone's got Martinez. If it was up to me, I'd go Martinez over Mendy, but I can understand why you'd want to go Mendy. But remember Chelsea's fixtures from here. I know we've got a very good record against good teams and we don't tend to concede a lot.
That's what I was going to say, though.
Yeah, so I can understand the appeal, but also double game weeks and stuff will be coming up. I think fixtures will be announced quite soon, and Villa have a game in hand, so they're going to have a double game week. I think long run I'd go Martinez, but short term maybe Mendy.
Yeah, I think while Chelsea have been performing in these big fixtures, we're still in the Champions League right now, in the FA Cup League. Those are really big matches that we're going to have, and we still have top 4. But the teams that we have to face, like Arsenal, obviously haven't been doing well, but we saw what they did to us when they weren't doing well, which sucks. But Aston Villa as well, Man City. Is that it? And then Fulham, are there only 4 games left? Am I missing something?
Fulham, Arsenal, City, Leicester, Villa. I think that's it. I don't know the order. But those 5,
So very difficult teams with very potent attacking options. So I personally would probably stay away from Mendy. Jawad as Bruno or Jota on the bench?
I'm benching Jota. I'm only benching Jota because I've got Salah. And after having them both last week and they just missed about 85 chances each, I just can't be asked for it. So I think Jota will start. I think Jota will play. He'll probably score knowing that I'm going to bench him. But he will be my first sub. And because I'm playing 4 defenders, then if any one of my players doesn't play, if Azpilicueta doesn't play, he's not going to come on. So I'm going to have Jota as a first sub. I would bench... I think it's really hard. I'm only benching. If you haven't got Salah, I would play Jota. 100% I would play Jota and probably bench Bruno.
We know somebody who has Alexander-Arnold. Jota.
Yeah. I think Liverpool played better against better teams. Man United will do their best to try and nullify the game like they've done in most of the big games this season. And obviously, if they get a penalty or something, then obviously Bruno could be amongst the points. But I think overall, Liverpool, I know it's Arsenal and Tottenham, they're not like Man City and Chelsea or Man City and Man United, but they played really well in those games. They just seem to play better against the better side. So I think if you were to bench anyone, I'm benching Jota. Because again, I don't have the balls to bench Bruno when I wish I did, but I just don't. So Jawad, I wish I could help you. If you don't have Salah, I would bench Bruno. If you have Salah and Jota, I'd bench Jota.
Oh God, this is so difficult. I'm between benching.
I feel like responsible if something goes wrong.
I know, right? I'm between benching Bruno, Jota, or Greenwood, and I go through.
I'd bench one of Greenwood. Yeah, so keep Jota. You don't have Salah, so definitely keep Jota and just bench Greenwood or Bruno. Yeah, that's the decision, and I cannot help you on that.
I've been going back and forth. Like I literally have changed my team so many times between.
I don't even want to look at mine. If I look at it too much, it will irritate the life out of me. So,
yeah. I feel like whatever, or maybe they'll just get like nobody will score, and then it doesn't really matter. But Hijir goes, Tammy's bagging hat trick tomorrow. See, he's in my team. That's a Hijir, are you being serious? I know you're a massive Tammy fan, but do you really have Tammy in your team because he hasn't been playing? Like,
I don't think he's gonna. I mean, listen, if there was ever a game that him or Giroud are gonna start, it could be this one because. Like the Timo Werner debate, no one would have him in their fantasy Premier League teams, but Chelsea play better when Timo Werner's on the pitch. I tweeted that yesterday and I stand by that. And I think he will start against Real Madrid again. I think someone like Havertz will probably play on Saturday, sorry. I think if there was ever a game, I would love Tammy to start and I want him to be given an opportunity, but you can't knock Thomas Tuchel because Chelsea have done so well under him. You can't knock his decisions because everything's worked. And as well as being excited at how well Chelsea are doing, you can also be a little bit disappointed for Tammy, but Tuchel just doesn't fancy him. And I can't see any option really. If Tuchel stays as manager, I don't think Tammy will be even... you might have him in your team, but I don't know if he'll be playing for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think the problem as well is like with his contract, like if his contract is ending and Tuchel's saying, oh, this is not somebody that I really see in my future, in my team in the future, then you're probably not going to rely on him towards the end of the season. Because you're probably looking to sell him. Breaks my heart because I really like Tammy as a player. It's really, really.
Everyone does. I think everyone does. Everyone likes him as a player. Everyone likes his attitude. Everyone likes that he's so young and he's been scoring goals for Chelsea, the team he always wanted to do it for. But at the end of the day, if a manager doesn't fancy you, and there's not really much you can do, I don't think, that's going to change their mind, which is a real shame. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think we'll all might have Tammy in our teams, but yeah, I don't know if he'll be playing for Chelsea badly.
Yeah. So Whoopie. Totally butchering that. It's not even late, you guys. Rudy says, is it time to get rid of Chelsea's defenders because of the tough fixtures ahead? So I think our sale recommendation for this week is Chelsea defenders, City defenders. Each, so I'm in a pickle. Yeah, I think it's a good idea because we don't know playing either. Like we saw Aston start 2 straight games, so I have him in my team, but is he going to start against Fulham? Probably not, to rest him for Real Madrid. And we just don't really know which combination he's got. Like nobody looks 100% certain in that back line. Like he really is just completely chopping and changing it every week. I don't know who's going to start.
Like a few of them have to play, don't they? Because we don't actually have that. Like a few centre backs have to play, but Zuma might play, Christensen probably will play, but it's you just can't predict it. So I just think it would be, and it's annoying because Fulham at home is almost a perfect fixture to play these Chelsea defenders. I've still got Azpilicueta, but that's because I don't want to waste a transfer. I'm going to play him, and if he doesn't play, then I'm going to get Jota off the bench. So that's fine with me. But I think looking at Chelsea's fixtures, competitions they're still in, I think it would be a good idea to be looking to sell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Diaz for some defender this week, whether it's a Castagna or like a Shaw or something like that.
Yeah.
And then probably next week I'll be looking to sell Azpilicueta, and then that also gives you time to see like how Chelsea do if we're still in the Champions League, because if we're not, then perhaps I would keep Azpilicueta, but I really hope that we are. I feel like I would have to move if we don't.
Oh my God.
I can't live here anymore.
It's about it. So nervous.
Too much. I was so nervous. I'm gonna do another video, guys, like trying to interview Madrid fans on the streets sometime this weekend. So it's a bank holiday in Spain on Monday. So, anyways. So we have our sell. We both kind of agree that sell should be Chelsea, in my case, City defenders as well.
Yeah.
Your buy you mentioned was
Castagna, yeah. He's my buy.
Pronounce his name right. Castagna. I would say for me, like if you guys don't have Iheanacho, I would get him in 1,000%. He was also kind of like last week, but if you don't have him, I think that he's a really good differential. But other than that, like I don't really see that many amazing players to be buying right now. Like he's really performing. All of the big players are not performing, so it makes it really difficult because you want to keep these players in your team in case they do something, but it's also like you don't know where the goals are going to come from because they're like very random at this state. I really haven't seen anything like it. Like Salah not performing 100%, Fernandes not performing, Chelsea, you just have no idea who's going to be there, City as well. Okay, so we did. Okay, so who are you keeping in your team?
I think I mentioned it earlier. I'm keeping Bruno.
Yes.
The whole big game thing. I know he hasn't been in great form recently, but for some reason I feel like I want to keep him. I know that they'll have a double game week coming up somewhere, and obviously they'll have a Europa League final on the horizon. So, but for me at the moment, I just think you want a United attacker for their fixtures after Liverpool, and even Liverpool. I think they're always capable of winning a penalty, aren't they? Man United and stuff like that. So I think, as well as a lot of people have got rid of him and have got rid of Salah, I think I'm just keeping faith in Bruno for just a little bit longer. And maybe next week he might be a sell, but I think for the moment I'm just, he's my keep.
Interesting. Yeah, I was honestly between selling him, but like I said, guys, like there really aren't many options.
Yeah, unless you really, really want someone, unless there's someone that really stands out to you, then I would just say don't bother. There's no point wasting a transfer because you just want to get Bruno out. If there's no one you want to bring in, then it's pointless. Just leave it.
Yeah, my keep is going to be like Kane and so on. I have them both, and I think that they have pretty good fixtures. So since I have them both, and like we've been saying, it's kind of been the theme this week, but since there really aren't any other players that I look at and say, wow, this person can really affect my team, or this person is an incredible differential, like I just don't see that right now. So I'm going to keep both of those players, at least for the short term. And like we've been saying, Spurs are out of all competitions and they're really going to be trying to fight for like a top 4 spot, I think. So they could be really good players to have if you don't already have them. And who are you avoiding in FPL?
I mean, we've already mentioned it. Like I said, I'm avoiding Chelsea assets. I mean, we've said sell Chelsea assets. I'm avoiding any Man City assets. Gundogan's third on my bench this week, just because purely I don't have anyone that I want to bring in for him. But yeah, there was no one specific player that I was looking at and going, oh my God, avoid him at all costs. He's been rubbish. Because I think even though Trent would have been that player a few weeks ago, now he's looking, people getting him back in and people are spending money on him because he's looked sort of almost back to his best a little bit. So yeah, I would just say if you've got, I think a sell, like an avoid or a sell is Ruben Dias, Ilkay Gundogan. If you've still got Man City assets, get rid of them.
Yeah,
it's pointless. It really is pointless at this stage in the season. A big Champions League semi-final coming up, potentially wrapped up the league this weekend, if not next. So yeah, I would just Gundogan and Dias would be my avoids or my sells.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Ellie, get rid of Dias.
I know. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be my transfer.
Watch him play, get a clean sheet and like bonus points as well. Probably score as well. Probably get like 15 points.
Or I get a clean sheet. He's like, that's just my luck, honestly. But I think I am going to get rid of him. I just need to decide who to get him in for. Dan asks, who's leading, Ellie or Liv? I think that you're leading. I had a really shit start, so I've been trying really hard to catch up, because when we started FPL, or when I started playing, it was my first time playing, so I literally had no strategy. I had a really random team to start with. I was like, oh, 3 Chelsea players, amazing. And I had Pulisic, who was injured. He didn't even play for like a month. Havertz and Werner, I think. So
I've been doing this for a while, so I think I don't have that much of an excuse as to why I'm rubbish, but yeah, I've done quite well this season. So
I have 1922. I have no idea if that's good or bad. So
I've got 2,110.
Holy shit.
I've been playing, that's my excuse. It's my job. I get paid to talk about it. So I technically should be quite good. But yeah. So I mean, I'm currently 56,000th in the world. So I want to finish in the top 50K. That's my aim.
Holy cow. I'm at 863,000.
Yeah, but if you think there's over like 7 million players, so that's actually not bad. You're in the top million.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I never played before, so I really had to make up like the first 5 weeks, like was like terrible, and then I used my chips. Like I didn't know what the chips were used for, so I kind of used them randomly. But
it's a learning curve. Next season you'll be fine.
Hopefully. Let's see. I feel like we just don't know who's going to be doing well. But all right, guys, we've been talking for over half an hour. Hopefully we've answered all of your FPL questions that you have. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a weird time for FPL, and I'm not loving my team right now, but hopefully they do okay. One final thing, you said you're captaining Harry Kane. I'm between Ian Nacho and Harry Kane. I don't know if I should go for that differential again, or if it might bite me in the ass.
Actually, it's like Southampton's defense is, I think they conceded twice in each of the last 5 league games. We did Ian Nacho for a captain pick earlier, and I think he's a great captain. I think I just looking at that fixture and just can't look past Harry Kane. But I would 100%, if I was in your position, I would do it. Like you've got nothing to lose really in captaining Ian Nacho when everyone is going to captain Harry Kane. So many people, millions and millions. It'll be the most captained by a mile. So yeah, and Ian Nacho, he's in the best form in the league. So why not?
Yeah, I honestly might just do it because I'm just like playing for fun right now, and I still have Harry Kane in my team, so it wouldn't be like a completely
exactly. You wouldn't be
So, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, we're here every Friday with your fantasy tips and tricks. Can't believe the Premier League's almost over. Like that's so
5 game weeks, 5 more Fridays.
What?
That's it.
Like, how is it May already? Like,
I know. Crazy.
So guys, thanks for watching. Ellie Liv here. No, I can't. Okay. I can never point to in the see, I'm pointing in the wrong direction and I was right. Okay, whatever.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm pointing the other way, but you're there.
Yeah. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, I'm out.